What is up, my people? How we doing today? I am gonna be driving and talking today. Hope you don't mind. I want to talk about stances today, about fighting stances, and where to hold your hands, especially like the guard, right? Um, so a stance is made up of your foot placement, right, combined with your guard. Sorry, guys, I just ate something. Um, and I am going to be driving. I don't know if I mentioned that. So, if you guys don't like the noise, let me know. Or don't let me know. Just leave. But, um, anyways, yeah, we're going to be talking about stances and guard, right? Um, and the reason it came to my attention was actually because of Tank Davis and the interview with Tank Davis, the post fight interview, where they asked him about the flinch and did the flinch help or something like that. I forgot the question. It's on TikTok as well, so you guys could go look that up. And Tank Davis said that that the flinch definitely helped because it helped them um, know that he was gonna be vulnerable to fates, right? And yeah, that's pretty much true. But what was more interesting to me personally was that what he said afterwards. He said that the red spot that he had on his right eye was actually caused by him blocking the punch, and the punch went through his guard, right? And that's just this whole mythos, this whole not mythos, but this whole like myth that just because you have your hands up, that's gonna protect you from a punch, And it's always bothered me because I know that for a fact that this isn't true, right? But people always bring that up for the reasons why certain fighters lose, or every time you see in a YouTube video somebody's boxing and they're like, keep your hands up, and it's such easy bullshit to just spew out of the mouth without even knowing what the fuck you're talking about. And listen, I'm not an expert or anything like that, but you're not gonna see me like, well, sometimes I do, but especially if it's common known fallacies like keep your hands up. But the point is, it's like, yeah, you're not gonna see me like saying the same shit over and over again everybody else says, because I feel like that's boring, and most of the time it's fallacies. It's shit that isn't true, right? Or that contradicts themselves all the time. Like, for example, Devin Haney lost to Ryan Garcia recently, and the first thing people were saying, especially Floyd Mayweather, who, by the way, I think he's one of the best boxers that ever laced them up, one of. But even he's wrong, because he said that Devin Haney lost because he pulls his hand back when he throws a punch. And to a certain extent, it is true, but it's not completely true. That's not the only reason why he got knocked out. But for example, oh yeah, and by the way, they actually made a video of Mayweather, doing the same shit, pulling his hand back as he throws a punch. So I'm getting to something, guys. I have a point, right? I'm just letting you guys know that a lot of these fighters that say keep your hands up all the time, they themselves don't keep their hands up all the time. All right, and the classic excuse that people give you is that you're not Floyd Mayweather, or you're not Hitman Hearns, or you're not Ali. But that's not the truth, guys. The truth is that every boxer ever sometimes puts their hands down. Okay? And every boxer pulls their hand back like a bow arrow thing. You know how they say, don't pull back like a bow? Every boxer does it, bro. Every boxer does it. So to focus on that, in my personal opinion, is stupid. You know, you're wasting your time. The number one thing that needs to be studied in a fight is strategy. And strategy is going to guide you to where you keep your hands up, where you put your hands up, and when not to do it. So yeah, guys, it's like, so how do you stand? Okay, what is a good stance? What is the difference between most of the stances? Now, if I go into the details, it's gonna take too long. But the basic gist of stances is this: there is squared up stances, right? There is bladed stances, which means they're more like sideways, and they become smaller targets. And there is mid-range stances, which is somewhere in between a squared up stance and a bladed stance. Okay. Now, all of these have their strengths and the weaknesses and the reasons for existing, right? So the more bladed you are, the harder you are to hit when it comes to mainly straight punches that come to you, right? The more squared up you are, the easier you are to hit with straight punches because you're a wider target. But at the same time, you're harder to miss with circular attacks. That's basically, that's basically what it boils down to, guys. But the mid-range stance, somewhere in between, that, I think it's a little better, and I personally like that one more because, you got your options. You could either fight close, you could move in close range, or you could go completely outside of range with a fighting range. So that's basically, I personally think you should use all of them. I like the mid-range stance, which is the one on the left, and I switch off when I go to the inside to something of a peekaboo and keep my hands up, just in case he tries to throw hooks, because in the inside he's not going to want to really throw straight punches down the middle. So that's the way I do it, guys. Now, when it comes to hands, the guard, which is how am I going to hold my hands, I like something like this or something like these old school guys over here. Especially if I'm going to be, fighting without gloves or with smaller gloves like, your typical MMA gloves, which I hate, by the way. You're going to want to keep your hands away from your face, because you don't want what happened to Tank to happen to you, which is hit yourself with your own glove in your face. And when it comes to boxing, you can get away with that because the gloves, especially nowadays, they have more cushioning around it. And because it has more cushioning around it, it's able to hit you in the face and not hurt you. It's just like a cushion. So it's pretty basic stuff, guys. It's pretty logical stuff if you think about it. So a lot of times your coach is going to tell you one thing, but you got to filter it through, the logic that you have. Hopefully you guys have logic. And realize that don't contradict them there on the spot, because he's your teacher and you should respect them. You should always respect your coaches and your senseis or whatever, because they're coming at it from their point of view. You could ask questions, but don't disrespect them. Just be like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And then most of the time it's going to make sense. Sometimes it won't make sense, guys, because a lot of these guys are traditionalists. And traditionalists, they just do it because their coach told them to do it, and then they do it because they do it, and then so on and so forth. But if you study the martial arts, you'll come to understand that a lot of these guys, bro, these old school guys, they knew what they were doing, and they knew why they had their hands low. You see some of the old timey boxers, they had their hands very low, and they stuck their neck out. So you start thinking, what do these guys know that I don't? Well, number one, it's head movement and foot positioning. Their foot positioning and the head movement was a little bit better than ours, in my opinion, because it just took more skill to fight back then. Because at the beginning they were doing bare knuckle, then the gloves. When they started using gloves, they weren't that thick anyways. So every punch was gonna hurt. So it was a long process of them posing and doing stances and things like that before they even threw a punch. And for it to become more entertaining and for more people to watch them, they made the gloves bigger so they'll throw more punches and be more reckless with their punches, right? But if you're gonna do it in a street fight, you gotta be, number one, you gotta know how to throw a punch. Because nowadays, look, the thing is, like back in the days, if you were a boxer, right, that meant that you were a good street fighter. That meant that if somebody pulled up on you in the streets, you could be able to defend yourself better than your average guy. Now that's not the case. Now if you're a boxer, there's so much politics in boxing now. There's so much things that go on beside the actual sport. Like, for example, you could drain a guy, and put a weight clause on him, and he's not going to be 100%. And some people live off of that technique. They make their careers off of that. All right, you could do that. You could make him wear bigger gloves than you. You can, make the ring shorter. It's a whole bunch of stuff that you could do in boxing, that allows you to get the upper hand on your opponent. And in a street fight, if somebody pulls up on you, you got to be ready. He's bigger, he's taller, he weighs more than you, or you weigh more than him. All of that is out the window. It's just boom, boom, bow. We here. So nowadays, like I said, it's not the same. It's and even back then at the same time it wasn't the same, but it was closer to an actual street fight. And most of the time, the stances and the way they fought back then, most boxers also knew how to wrestle. And they also knew some of them knew even how to do some kicks and some clips and shit like that. So what I'm trying to say is that nowadays, it's been watered down to the point to where boxers, if you pull up on them, you might have a possibility of beating the shit out of them. Number one, they wrap their hands up so much that without the wraps and without the gloves, their hands, they're mush. They're clay, bro. They're nothing. When back in the day, you had to learn how to punch. Because if you didn't know how to punch, you were going to break your hand. Okay? So the number one thing people were taught back then is how to make contact with a person's body. And not only that, you have to learn pressure points. You have to, I don't know, some of the modern day fighters today, if you say pressure points, they think you're talking about voodoo. You're like, oh my God, pressure points. You're a kung fu guy. Get your kung fu piece of shit out of here. And you're like, bro, obviously we have pressure points, bro. Obviously, we're made out of flesh and bone, bro. There's places that you could punch in the body that's gonna feel like your arm isn't there no more. Your arm's numb now. And a lot of Mexican boxers use those things still. You get the tempo shot that was it Ariel? No, I forgot his name. Andy Ruiz used against Anthony Joshua. It doesn't matter how big and strong you are. You get hit with a tempo shot, you lose your equilibrium. You're gonna be looking like a rag doll on there, like a puppet or something. So Or for example, Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez hit you in the top of the arm right there where the nerve is at next to the collarbone. I'm over here giving too much information, but he hits you right there, and with a couple of shots, where it doesn't even take that much shots, maybe 2 or 3, depends on how much resistance you have, it's over for you. You can't move your arm no more. So now you got 2 choices: either get knocked out or call the fight. Tell him you can't move your arm no more. And he does it to a lot of fighters. You know, and I'm telling you, bro. Like you people, a lot of people think, oh, pressure points ain't real, or that's some kung fu stuff that don't work. Oh, back in the day, it used to be common knowledge to hit people in certain spots so that they can't move certain parts of their body no more. And I'm not talking about no kung fu. I'm talking about these guys right here in the pictures. So no, it's not bullshit. You know, it's real. So yeah, guys, it's like, it's one thing to repeat, right? Repeat what you heard, and it's another thing to actually go out there and try it and see if it works. So yeah, guys, that's my take. I personally, like I said, I would keep my hand somewhere in front of me and away from my face. If anything, I'll keep it close to my chin, but not obstructing any of my vision. You know, but it's still in front of me so that I can, you know, attack at a notice, like when I want to do it. But that is pretty much it, guys, for today. That's all I wanted to get across today. If you guys like these videos, when I talk about like techniques and how to do things and stuff like that, I do want to make a video of what knuckles to make contact with. You know, one of the popular ones is that they say is to make contact with the 2 big knuckles, which I'm gonna give my opinion on that personally, and I'm gonna use things that are in history. But that's gonna be it for today, guys. If you want to see like a video of me actually like showing you guys things, let me know. But that's gonna be it for today's, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys later.